Okay, another incident or event that happens during Jefferson's administration is we're trying to remain as neutral as possible, kind of building on the concepts of George Washington and John Adams up until this point. And we're getting seized, British ships are being seized, sailors are being impressed or thrown into the British Navy, and sometimes people are being arrested. So Jefferson takes it upon himself to institute the Embargo Act of 1807, which forbade the export of all goods from the United States to any foreign nation, regardless of whether they transported in American or foreign ships. So basically, we've cut off all trade. The net result, though, here is going to be deserted docks, rotting ships, and basically just stopping all trade. Hurt the same New England merchants that it was trying to protect, is what they argue, because those ships have been confiscated. Now they're just sitting there rotting. And as a result of that, farmers of the South and the West are actually going to be losing profits because they have nowhere to send their grain or cotton or tobacco. So as a result of that, trade, and especially illegal trade, the black market will happen as a result of that in 1808. So finally, after people coming to their senses and realizing this was actually crippling the economy, at least for the time being, in the short period, they repealed the act in March of 1809, just before Jefferson leaves, and they replaced it with what is called the Non-Intercourse Act, which will reopen trade with all nations of the world except for France and England. But the problem with that is still we need to realize that our number one and number two trade partners at this point were still Britain and France. But since things were escalating on the open seas, this was originally the best answer to the situation. And as you can see depicted by this famous political cartoon, the individual there carrying what appears to be smuggled goods, and in the background you can see the flag of a British ship. So smuggling's going on, and it's talking about how he nicks him, and it's a turtle here, and it says, "Oh, this cursed, oh, grab me." But if you look very closely at the words there, and if you were to put those backwards, it would be embargo. So basically they're talking about the smuggling that's occurring and how this is actually hurting the economy, and people are resorting to smuggling items that they could not receive due to the embargo. Okay, so why does this thing basically become an epic fail? The embargo failed for two reasons. At this point, Jefferson had completely underestimated the British and their dependence on American goods, and he didn't continue it long enough. If it had perhaps gone a little bit longer, it may have achieved a little bit more success. The embargo was actually considered to be three times more costly than the actual war. He could have built a strong navy with a fraction of the money that he lost as a result of that. It also kind of regains a little bit of popularity for the Federalist Party because they're a little bit angry because a lot of those Federalist people live in the New England territories and rely upon trade. At the same time, it does kind of help promote a early form of factories and so forth. Since we weren't able to trade with other people, it does promote a little bit of industrialization. Was actually Alexander Hamilton's ideas, and it kind of backfired on the farmers. So kind of his plans that originally saw to the future actually backfired as a result of that. So eventually it doesn't keep us out of war, because eventually we're going to declare war in June of 1812 because of incidents escalating not only on the frontier but also on the open seas. So embargo becomes an epic fail mainly because it's nearsightedness, and it doesn't actually last as long as it probably could have for it actually to be enforced. Plus smuggling.